Hello and welcome to the Beach Travel Wine podcast. Today we are taking you to some fabulous places that you can do on day trips from Jerez de la Frontera or some of the other places down in the south here in Andalucia. We are going to some white villages, we're going to national parks, we're going to a river, we're going to a castle, and we're going to give you some ideas about seeing some monkeys on a rock and all sorts of stuff. So hope you enjoy this episode 136. And if you want to see all the pictures, because there are some really good ones, then just click on the link in the podcast description on the player you're listening on now to episode 136 to check those out. So enjoy this episode of the Beach Travel Wine podcast. Well, Lyle, how are you today?
Muy bien. Very good. Thank you.
As I said in the intro, we're taking you to some really great places and telling you all about some day trips that you can do from Jerez and this southern area of Andalusia, yeah?
Same.
The previous two episodes have been all about Jerez de la Frontera, and if you listen to those, you know that we love them. But we did have 2 weeks in Jerez, and we wanted to see some more of the area around, in particular Jerez, yes?
Same.
I really wanted to go to see some of the white villages, including Arco de la Frontera. So that's what we did, didn't we? And we did it on a bus trip, which was a day trip. And we went to lots of places, and we did some other day trips as well. So we're going to tell you all about that. So where did we start?
There was a small bus picked us up at the Alcazar in Jerez de la Frontera.
Yeah.
And they took us to a pickup point because the actual bus came from Cadiz.
Yeah, it was a Spanish/English tour. So,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so half and half. And the tour guide was Begonia.
Yep.
And she was perfect. She was excellent. Now, the pickup place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, when they picked us up from Jerez, they took us probably 10 minutes, didn't they, and dropped us where the big bus was picking us up. That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
That blew me away. And we had no idea what this was or why we were even there. But it turned out to be a monastery. And it literally could have been on the set of a movie.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I actually looked it up because I thought it must be, but I couldn't find anything. But yeah, it's the Monastery of Santa Maria de la Defensión.
Now, the pictures I have of this are divine. So this is episode 136. So go and have it. You see what I mean? The gates, just the gates themselves.
Yeah, the portico. Yeah, so I'll give you a bit of info.
Okay.
The monastery showcases a mixture of late Gothic and Renaissance style with a striking 17th century facade and Renaissance portico. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Founded in 1453, it was a key centre for the Carthusian order and famous for its contribution to the Carthusian horse breed. You can explore the church, the cloisters, the chapel halls, and the refectory, offering a glimpse into the monastic life of the past.
Now, it wasn't open for a long time, apparently, and so when we got there and we're looking at the gates and some of us are wandering over because we're waiting for the big bus, and our guide said, or the bus driver said, you can go in and have a look. And we were just like, really? And we were just like, okay.
Yeah, and also it's obviously includes beautiful gardens inside past the portico. And the site was chosen for its historical significance, being where a victorious battle against invaders took place. And obviously Santa Maria
was popular.
Well, that was the reason they won, I think.
You would never know about this place, and we wouldn't have known if we hadn't stopped here. It's not on the tourist maps. No one ever talks about it. But if you are in Jerez de la Frontera, make sure you go and have a look at this monastery.
Well, interesting, when I was looking up to research it, it does say it's quite a popular monument, but we never heard of it.
And once you see the pictures,
seriously, it was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah. So our bus turns up, and I think we were going to have 3 or 4 stops on our day. It was quite a big day, finishing in our last stop at Arcos de la Frontera. But I would have to say the thing that surprised you and I both was the landscape, the scenery. You think Andalucia, south of Spain, where the olives grow, it's hot, it's dry. It was lush and it was beautiful, wasn't it? So the first place we went to was El Bosque. This cute little town, and we stopped there for a little toilet break, and there's a little river running through it and has a water wheel. I think we got a coffee there as well.
Yeah, we did.
Beautiful botanic gardens. It was so picturesque, wasn't it?
So it's located in the northwest of Cadiz province. sits gracefully on the banks of the Mahasiete River with the Sierra de Albarracin, a key stop along the route of the White Villages. It's a gateway to Sierra de Grazalema Natural Park, offering stunning views and a chance to experience a traditional Andalusian white village, complete with local cuisine and artisanal products. Now, I'll spell this. It's Payoyo cheese. So it's Payoyo cheese. Now, it's made from the milk of the Payoya goats and Merina Grazamela sheep.
Now, Begonia told us that each little white village has a specialty that they're known for. So this one is the cheese. There was one that was known for honey, one that's known for their artisan products, and one we're going to talk about in a little while, which is known for its leather. So we just had a quick stop here, and it was really cute and quaint little place. And then we were told we've got about a 20-kilometre drive up windy roads through the Grazalema National Park.
Yeah.
And this is where the views came in, didn't it? We were doing these huge big turns around the side of the mountain, and then you'd look back down over the valley. It was spectacular. It was so lush. But we actually got to stop in a couple of places to hop out and have a little viewpoint
and get some photos.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a bit of info.
Yeah.
Grazalema National Park is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve known for its dramatic karst landscape, deep gorges, extensive cave system, and unusual green mountain terrain, thanks to its high rainfall. It hosts large colonies of griffon vultures, Spanish ipex.
We saw them. They're huge, and they're just circling around. I know vultures aren't particularly attractive, but when you're looking at them from a bus right up in the sky over the beautiful green mountains, they were stunning.
And it's also known for the Spanish ipex, which is basically mountain goats, and other wildlife like deer and eagles. Now, the size of the park, it's 51,695 hectares or 127,740 acres. Its tallest peak is Pinar at 1,654 metres or 5,427 feet.
Yes, it's got some pretty high mountain peaks.
Its history began with the Roman settlement evolving through Moorish rule into Zagrazalama and eventually became the Spanish town it is today.
Oh, so we've gone past the national park and we've got to Grazalema now.
Yeah.
So that was our destination. Yes. And as you come into Grazalema, you can see you're right up above it. And as you're driving in, all you can see are these tiny little cobblestone streets and these beautiful white houses on the side of this mountain range and the beautiful green mountains in the background. This was one of the prettiest cities I've ever seen in Spain. It was just beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was outstanding. It really was.
Yeah, because why would you build there? Like these little places are high in these mountains. It would have been hard to get there, let alone build a city. Yeah.
Yeah. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the rugged terrain of the Sierra de Grazalema made it a haven for bandoleros, contributing to the region's notoriety. But funnily enough, I looked up, whether there was a famous bandit, and there was, and his name was Jose Maria, nickname El Tempranillo,
which is a wine.
So whether or not he'd like to drink, or maybe that was probably he probably loved the red wine. The picturesque white village, known for its charming whitewashed buildings, narrow streets, and picturesque mountain setting. It also has a unique microclimate, which makes it the wettest place in Spain, creating lush green landscapes.
So when Lyle told me that, I went and checked that because I'm just like, that can't be. The wettest place in Spain can't be down in Andalusia. Anyway, he was correct. I just thought it would have to be up in Asturias or Galicia or up there, but that makes sense now because it was so lush and so green, and we just thought we got there on a good year, but it's like that all year round. So
Yeah.
how beautiful is that?
Grazalema has a centurion-old tradition of producing wool blankets and clothing, which is still feature of the local craft. Basically, it's their local merino wool.
Okay, so that's their specialty.
We went to that little bakery,
Yeah.
and we had some cheesecake there, which was made with that payoyo cheese, and
okay.
it was glorious.
And we did a bit of a walk, and there's a lookout that we went to, and there is a voice map app tour of Grazalema, which I found out later as well. So, if you're going to go here, check that out because it's the same guy, Clive.
Oh, really?
Because he lived in this gorgeous little white village for quite some time. There's a bit of history there. There's some statues. There's beautiful little shops and boutiques and little restaurants. It's only little, and then the main square has the church there. It was so pretty, wasn't it?
Yeah, postcard perfect.
Yeah, it was.
That's really what it was. It was definitely postcard perfect.
I really liked it. So after that, we had to hop on a bus, and we were off to Benacocus.
No, it's Benacocus. Benacocus.
Yeah.
Has a history stretching from prehistoric times, including Roman and Berber influences, but was founded by the Arabs in the 8th century. Benacocus is a classic example of Andalusian picturesque white village with charming architecture, ancient ruins, and narrow winding street. It features well-preserved historical sites, including the remains of the Roman road and the 8th century Barrier Nazari, which is the Moorish quarter. Yeah, so there's just I don't know how many white villages in total there are. We obviously didn't see all of them, but they are pretty spectacular, aren't they? Yeah, I think there's 7. I don't know why.
No, there's 7 della Fronteras.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
White villages, not sure. And then the next one, this is what surprised you a little bit, wasn't it? The Ubrique.
Yep.
It is, and we didn't actually stop here. We just pulled in and we could see down into the beautiful city because you can't stop at all of them, I guess. But this one is known for its leather, but not just any old leather. They make it for some pretty significant brands, don't they?
Yep. The town's fame as a centre for leather goods began in the 18th century, driven by its skilled craftsmen and developed meticulous techniques for producing luxury items, a tradition passed down through generations. Today, Ubrique is a leading supplying major international fashion houses. More than half the Ubrique's residents work in the leather trade. The region is known for its high-quality cowhide and goat leather. So, like it's Gucci and Louis Vuitton, all the top brands, the leather comes from Ubrique. Yeah. So I think there's around 6,500 population, and half of that actually work in the leather trade. So, it's a big deal. It's a very, very wealthy city. Now, all these places we were telling you, we did it on a tour, a day trip. You can drive yourself to these. It's quite a well-known circuit to drive yourself. And, even if you check the local buses as well, depending on where you start from, there's local buses between each of these little towns as well, depending on your time frame. So if you don't want to do a whole big day trip like we did, you just take your time and go and visit them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure from Jerez to Graza, that was about an hour, I think. And you can get a bus, just a local bus, directly to Jerez. Yeah. But the next place that we went to was the Arcos de la Frontera. And that's the one most people know of. Yeah, that's the famous one. A lot of people just go from Jerez or even Cadiz or Seville to Arcos de la Frontera. And there is definitely a bus that you can get there and back if you don't want to drive. And that's only about a half an hour. Sure. Yeah. So, but that was the last spot we went on our tour. But you've just got to remember, this whole time we're driving through beautiful scenery. Like, there was not a time I was like, oh, I wish we were there, or this is boring, or this is anything but
this is just incredible.
Yeah, well, as you said earlier, like the bus driver was pulling up at different viewpoints because the scenery was that beautiful.
When we got to Arcos de la Frontera, we had to park down low, and I'm pretty sure that you can't drive up into the main part of the city.
Well, you can't, because what they recommend is there's underground car parking before you actually get to the city centre, and they recommend that you park there.
Right. Now, I'm pretty sure there is a little bus, little sort of tourist train that takes people from the car park up to the top. Which wasn't running, and that she did say, look, we're going to have to walk up, and if anyone can't walk up, you'll just have to wait here, because it's quite steep. But it wasn't too bad because we did it in stages, and Begonia actually gave us a bit of a guided tour around Arcos de la Frontera. And there's a couple of really stunning cathedrals before you even get to the cliffs and the views, aren't there? And restaurants everywhere.
So I'll just give you a bit of history. History spans the Roman, Moorish and Christian Reconquista periods, with its de la Frontera name reflecting its status as a border town during the conflict that was between the Moors and the Christians. The town was the site of the Ponce de Leon family's largest estate, became a noble town by royal decree, and was occupied by Napoleonic troops during the War of Independence. The walk through Arcos is to step back in time. It sits on a hill overlooking a gorge of the river Guadalete. It serves as a gateway to the route of the White Villages and features a beautiful Arab-influenced old town of narrow, winding streets with rich history, notable churches, and panoramic views. Landmarks like the Church of Our Lady of Assumption and the Castillo de los Duques, which is the Duke's Castle, both reflecting its layered history. The Basilica de Santa Maria de la Anunciación is known for its significant Gothic and Plateresque architecture from the 15th and 16th century. It features a late Gothic hall church style with three naves, a monumental apse, and a complex star-ribbed vault. The basilica also contains notable interior elements, including the Renaissance altarpiece, a unique organ, and the uncorrupted mummy of Saint Felix.
Wow, we've covered a lot so far, and I haven't said go to the link in the description of the podcast player you're listening on, because I have photos of all of these places. You're going to love the monastery, Grazallamela, and Arcos de la Frontera, and the views, and you'll understand why we just loved it so much and why we raved about it. So we walked all the way up to the top of Arcos de la Frontera, past the cathedrals, and right down sort of to the viewpoint where you're basically out on this cliff overlooking right down into the river. Yeah, it was spectacular. Now, Clive, the guy who did the voice map app tour of Jerez and the other places, he said to me, make sure you go to the Parador and go out into the balcony and have a cold beer there, because it's the best views in town. Well, we did better than that. It was actually quite hot, so we actually went inside to the Parador, where they have floor to ceiling glass walls. Yeah. And I actually didn't even realize it was glass. I thought it was open when we walked out. So they've got this beautiful big room, which is, got the Spanish tiles on the floor and the lovely tables just sitting there. And we've got the one chairs right up the front, and we're literally looking down over the cliff, but we're inside in aircon, which was pretty cool. But it felt more like you're outdoors. And we sat there and had a sandwich and a drink. You had to for lunch, and it was spectacular, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember we had a club sandwich, and it was absolutely beautiful. The food was great. Yeah,
and obviously they have accommodation there, because that's what a Parador is in Spain. So definitely recommend, if you're going to Arcos de la Frontera, go up past the cathedrals and keep going till you get to the Parador. Now, there's sort of a castle there too. What isn't there? On the other side, just there's sort of a square. They were doing that up. And so on one side is the Parador, and on the other side is the remains of a fortress or a castle, isn't it?
Okay, it's the Castillo de los Duques. Is 11th century Moorish fortress that was transformed into a medieval ducal residence in the 15th century. It sits on the cliff's edge. It is a quadrangular with 4 towers offering significant architecture and cultural value. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It
It
was
is
impressive.
nice.
And just wandering around the streets, there's little bars and little cafes, and you can go down into them and sit out on little balconies. And there's one street that just had little restaurant after restaurant after restaurant. It was very authentic. Didn't feel touristy, and it was beautiful once again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I
The
wanted to go there for so
yeah.
long.
Well, and basically that was the finish of the tour. From
Yeah.
there, we drove back to Jerez.
Yeah.
I highly recommend doing the actual tour.
Yeah.
Where did we book that?
I will put a link in the
Oh, okay.
in the web page. So click the link in the show notes and go and check that out. So that was a full day trip, and if you had some time, you could obviously go and visit a few of them and go back to the others another day. The train station in Jerez is really beautiful. I think we've mentioned that in the previous podcast. But Jerez is situated in such a good area for day trips. So we did another one too.
Yeah, we went to El Puerto de la Santa Maria. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to go there because I thought we'd go and check out the beach and we'd
Yep.
walk along the beach, but we didn't get that far, did we?
Yeah. It's only about 20 kilometres. I think it took us I think it would be lucky to be 20 minutes on the train. We caught a taxi to the old town.
Yeah.
And then we realised it wasn't that far because we actually walked back to the station to go home.
But it's a port town, so it's on the river, like a big river, and then further down, quite a bit further down, are the beaches, and apparently they're beautiful.
It has a history spanning from ancient Phoenicians and Roman times for its crucial role in Spain's transatlantic trade. Founded as Port Menecius, it was renamed Santa Maria del Puerto in the 13th century and became prosperous centre for sherry wine exports and the New World trade.
So that's where they exported the sherry from. But didn't old
Christopher Columbus?
Yeah, our mate.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus spent time in El Puerto planning his journey to the New World.
Look, I'm just going to say here that there's a lot of places claim Christopher Columbus was there, signed the documents there, met the Queens there, planned his trip there. This is probably true because this does go out into the sea. So
yeah. What Leon's saying is very, very true. We've been to so many places and they all claim him, and yet, in actual fact, he was Italian. But anyway, let's not get the truth get in the way of a good story. The city flourished due to its vital role in Spain's trade with the Americas. Today, El Puerto is a significant producer of sherry and brandy and is located on the edge of the Sherry Triangle. Located on the Bay of Cadiz at the mouth of the Guadalete River, the city offers a blend of historical sites and modern attractions like beach bars and water sports. You will need to use a taxi or local bus if you want to visit the beautiful beaches. Another must visit to the Castello de San Marco, a medieval fortress built by King Alfonso X the Wise on the site of a 10th century mosque to serve as a fortified church and defence against the North African attacks. The castle is a remarkable blend of Islamic and Gothic architecture, featuring high towers and granulated walls, and it houses the image of the Virgin of Santa Maria del Puerto. You can also tour the famous Bodegas Osborne and other sherry wineries.
Now, we were really impressed with the castle.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, once again, it looked like it could be in a movie. It had the towers and the turrets. So we went in and you get an audio guide with that.
That's right, yep.
Which was amazing. They still had a lot of the Arabic stuff
arches,
in it, and some of the original artwork at the back of that area.
Yeah.
And then we were able to go through the courtyard, which was the original one as well, with the water feature in the middle that the Arabic people had. And then we were able to actually there's a bodega there
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they have like sherry barrels there. So
Well, you can do wine, like sherry tastings and that sort of gear.
and I imagine they would hold events there because it's that sort of
Yes, yeah, they do.
yeah. And you can walk all the way around the outside of the castle as well, and then you can go up to the top in where you can go to each of the towers.
Yeah, which I went up.
Yeah, well, that's the main one, but at the level I was at, you go across a little bridge onto the other little towers as well, and it was incredible. And the photos I got and the views that you got, yeah, it was pretty impressive.
I'd have to say it's probably one of the best preserved castillos
Yeah.
that we've seen in Spain.
Yeah, it was great.
It was really, really well done.
Yeah.
And quite close to that, there was the interpretation centre.
Well, we went there first.
Yeah.
And that was free.
Yeah, and it's basically a museum.
Interactive though too.
Yeah.
And you got really good views from up there over the castle.
Yeah, and the people in the museum were so friendly, and it was really well done, and it basically explained the history, obviously, of Puerto de Santa Maria, and how obviously the shipbuilding and all that sort of thing influenced how successful, and obviously Santa Maria is very, very prosperous.
When we wandered around the old town, and I think there was a Plaza de España, little plaza there.
There was, yep.
We found somewhere to sit and have some of the local seafood. The streets were really pretty, once again. And there are bodegas there, so it's quite, as you say, well off. There was a parade sort of going on somewhere as well, so there was lots of people about. It had such a great atmosphere. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, well, I'd suggest it's not high on the tourist agenda.
No, but you should go there.
You should go there, yeah. We never actually got to the beaches, but you can actually catch the local bus to the beach.
Well, the locals go. The closest beach to Jerez is 20 kilometres. It's not that far, and the locals go there all the time. But you could get off the train here and go to the beach. Just catch a taxi down to the beach and then back to the train. You could easily do that.
Yeah.
But there are sort of some other beautiful little beach spots all the way from here all the way down to Cadiz. We really enjoyed our day there.
Well, we did go for a walk along the promenade there, the river, and that was beautiful.
Yeah, really.
That was really, really nice. And I can't remember what it was, but there is a fair amount of reconstruction of some of the old buildings. So I'd imagine in the future that'll be pretty impressive as well.
So we're talking day trips. So that was another one we took. Another spot which is a bit further down on the train, which is probably only about a 35-minute train ride, which we have been to, is Cadiz. Yeah, and that's a great day trip from Jerez, and I'd even suggest it's a nice little place to stay.
Yeah.
We've actually done a whole episode on that. That's episode 31 of our time that we spent in Cadiz. It has one of the most beautiful promenades that we've seen, and on the Atlantic Ocean, this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we found some really fun little parks with dinosaur statues and water fountains and monuments, and just no one else around.
Some of the most elaborate monuments I've ever seen.
The market there, the food market, is divine. That what they do is they have all the fresh seafood people, and they're giving samples away. We had fresh oysters. And then you can have someone cook it for you too. You can buy it and go and have a cook.
And of course, all these places include bars as well. So,
and the shopping there, I think you bought a pair of shoes. So it's really great shopping. And the main square with the cathedral, I think it was one of the first big cathedrals I'd been in Spain. And I was blown away. And we did an audio tour of that. So that's fascinating too. And it's also the scene of where a James Bond movie with Halle Berry was filmed.
That's
so
right.
There's some great beaches and promenades to walk along. So that's a definite must do if you're staying in Jerez. Go as a day trip.
And if you get hungry in Cadiz, the restaurants, the food is outstanding, and one of my favourite restaurants is called El Faro.
Yeah, that was nice. That's the lighthouse.
The biggest oysters I've ever seen in my life.
So even if you're staying in Seville, you can do these day trips. And that's another spot, but you could do Seville as a day trip from Jerez. It's back the other way, about 40 minutes, and we've done about 3 or 4 episodes on Seville, the latest one being episode 98, and Seville doesn't need much of an introduction. It's just one of the most beautiful cities in Spain, in Europe that you'll ever see.
Yeah. Well, I think from Jerez, it's only about an hour and 15 minutes on the bus.
Yeah,
or Jerez to Seville.
Or it's a 45-minute train trip, because that's how we got there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 45 minutes. And like, as you said, Seville, you've got to go and see that. It is just unbelievably beautiful.
Jerez does have this train station, and the bus station's right there as well. It's so easy to get around these little places that you can go and visit. That's why Jerez is perfect, because it's this wonderful Spanish city that you're so Spanish, and then you can go off and do these day trips, and you can come back and you're with the locals, and you're not surrounded by lots of tourists, and it's just magical.
Yeah, and another place to check out, and it's only an hour and a half on the bus from Jerez, is to Gibraltar.
Yeah, so get that. Yeah.
Gibraltar is unbelievable.
Now, we did episode 25.
Now, just a bit of a description on Gibraltar. Experience a unique cultural fusion on the day trip to the British territory, and Gibraltar known for its duty-free shopping and distinct British atmosphere. So the must-sees and the must-dos, you've got to take the cable car ride to the top of the rock to check out the cheeky monkeys, and they are everywhere. And when you're up there at the top, you look down to the airport, and it is the shortest runway I've ever seen in my life. And the actual runway's on reclaimed land. So you just watch the planes take off, and they just go straight up. But the other funny part of that is that to get into Gibraltar, you've got to go across the runway.
Right.
So there's actually traffic lights at each end of
each side. So you can't cross if there's any planes landing or taking off. So cars and people, everyone just sort of stops, and plane's landed. Okay, cross you go. But you can see that from the top of the Rock of Gibraltar too.
You can also see North Africa.
You can, easy.
Yeah. So
it's not that far across the Strait of Gibraltar there.
That's correct. And then you've got all the British things like red telephone boxes, all the bars, all the Irish bars and English bars.
They sell a lot of leather there too.
Yeah, and traditional fish and chips.
But it's actually very, to me, I found it astounding that you could just cross literally a road, and you are completely in a different country. It was that dramatic, the change.
Yeah, it's a British British territory.
Just something to maybe consider if you're going to be staying down in Jerez and you want to do something different. A day trip would be fine in Gibraltar. You can do up the cable car up to the top of the rock, check out all the views from up there, wander through the streets, look at the red, telephone boxes, and basically you're done. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so unique. We stayed at the Rock Hotel. And as Leanne said, there's a specific.
So episode 25, we did all about Gibraltar, but it's not too far to do as a day trip from Jerez. Yeah.
Yeah, an hour and a half.
Yeah. So, and an hour and a half back. Done.
More than likely.
Train or bus? Be a bus.
Bus.
Yeah. Okay. Because the bus station's there at La Linea, isn't it? When you walk across from there. Yeah. It's a great spot. So there's just some ideas of some day trips that you can do from Jerez. As you can tell, there is a lot around. And if you have a look on the map, you'll see Jerez sort of in the centre, and you've got the white villages sort of above it, and you've got Cadiz and Gibraltar sort of to the south of it, and you've got the beaches over to the west, and you've even got places like Ronda and
yeah, that's right. I was just thinking that Ronda
to the right. So it's in a fabulous spot. Location, and because it does have that fast train and the station there and the bus station right there, easy, it's almost in the centre of Jerez. It's so easy to get around if you don't have your own car, right? Yeah, lots to see. So anything else you want to talk about today? I think we've covered a whole lot of ground.
Yeah, I just think it's so, as you just said then, Jerez is just so central. And I loved it. We were there for 2 weeks. Fabulous 2 weeks.
So your favourite place to have a wine on our day trip?
On our day trip?
I'm going the Parador.
Yeah, Parador. But I mean, if we had a chance to maybe have a glass of wine, it was a bit early in the morning, but
Grasimella.
at Grazamela in the little square there, the plaza. That was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
That's, as I said, straight out of a postcard.
Yeah, it was lovely. So go and check out all the pictures. This is episode 136. So I will put a link to this episode in the description on the podcast player you're listening on. I've got some really nice photos of the monastery, of Grazalema. I didn't say that right. Of Grazalema, the national park, the views, Arcos de la Frontera. There's some really beautiful photos there. So go and check them out. And we will see you next time from somewhere else in España. So it's hasta luego from me.
Adios from me.